On World News Tonight this Tuesday, millions of people looking for more cool and the power companies looking for more electricity. The presidential poverty tour goes to the Mississippi Delta. We'll take a closer look at how hard it is to make a difference. And we're going to take you to one of the stunning four corners of the earth tonight where, heaven help them, they are just getting television.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. Yes, it is summer, and yes, it's supposed to be hot in July. However, today, in well over half the country, temperatures were in the 90s, and in one brutal swath, from Virginia north to New England, it was in the hundreds. The strain on people and systems is enormous. So we go first to ABC's Bob Jamieson.
On its third day, the Northeast's worst heat wave in 5 years produced far more than discomfort. In Boston, a steady stream of ambulances brought residents with heat-related illnesses to City Hospital. Calls to the city's emergency services soared.
Today we're actually 36% busier than our normal call volume throughout the day.
Hello, you've reached the Fort Cool New York helpline. May I help you?
In New York, city officials operated a phone center to help with emergencies and direct those without air conditioning to cooling centers. 86 cooling centers were open. Officials mindful of criticism that Chicago didn't do enough 4 years ago when a heat wave there led to 500 deaths. The excessive heat caused power dips that delayed subway service, leaving thousands sweltering in the underground stations.
The weather is unbelievable. I've never seen it this hot before.
It feels like I'm in a sauna.
The heat buckled and even melted roads from New York's Long Island to I-95 near Philadelphia. Metal decking warped on New York's 59th Street Bridge, closing it for 8 hours. In Washington, city officials called off the first day of a summer jobs program for 7,000 youths because of the high heat.
This helps a lot.
Relief, however, is on the way. The weather pattern that caused the Northeast to bake under hotter and hotter stagnant air is now changing. The jet stream, which had dipped far south of normal in the western United States and north of normal in the east, is returning to normal. That will allow cool air to flow through, like turning on a fan, dropping temperatures 10 degrees tonight. And by tomorrow, it may not be necessary for visitors and animals at Washington's National Zoo to seek relief the way they did today. Bob Jamieson, ABC News, New York.
Well, whatever you did to accommodate the heat today, the real scramble on a day like this is among the utility companies trying to keep up with a record demand for power. When they failed in several parts of the east today, there were brownouts or blackouts. And in several places where the companies knew they were going to have a problem, it was get the power broker on the phone. Here's ABC's Betsy Stark.
Many power companies prepare for heavy summer usage by making deals with suppliers months in advance, and this week that preparation paid off. But those who do not prepare are forced to buy the extra power they need day by day. A utility selling surplus power pumps the extra electricity into the nation's power grid. The buyer pulls the power out of the grid hundreds, even thousands of miles away.
We're drawing power from Alabama, Louisiana, Florida, South Carolina, and even up through Canada.
It is not cheap. Normally, the price per unit of power averages around $30. Power companies in the Mid-Atlantic buying for delivery today paid as much as 30 times that rate, or $900 per unit.
You'd rather be selling today than buying, that's for sure.
For power companies selling energy, this week's heat wave represents a huge windfall. For companies forced to buy, it's a big hit to the bottom line. But consumers are largely protected because their rates are set a year in advance and because these soaring prices will last only as long as the heat wave. Betsy Stark, ABC News, New York.
And very much weather-related in Atlanta today, lightning during a thunderstorm struck an apartment building, sparking an enormous fire, as you can see. Police say lightning from the same storm caused fires at half a dozen other buildings in downtown Atlanta. In Yugoslavia tonight, there have been more demonstrations against the leader, President Milosevic, for the second day running in the southern city of Leskovac, and more calls for President Milosevic to resign. Late tonight, there's word of police clashes with demonstrators. Mr. Milosevic has proved before that he knows how to ride out sustained opposition, But increasingly, the political establishment is turning against him. Take the mayor of the town Kragujevac. The mayor says he could get rid of Mr. Milosevic with some help from the United States. And there's the rub. Here's ABC's Bill Redeker.
It seems like the perfect place for the U.S. to try to influence post-war Yugoslavia. Kragujevac is a company town, home of the Yugo automobile, and vehemently anti-Milosevic. City Hall is ruled by the opposition party, and the mayor says he would welcome aid from the U.S. Everybody will be against Milosevic in the cities that get help from the West, he says. This could be a turning point for democracy to prevail.
There's just one problem. The U.S. and NATO destroyed the car factory and a nearby small arms plant, leaving the town without work and without resources to oppose the Milosevic government.
The factory, which was hit by more than 24 rockets and bombs, once employed 36,000 workers. No one works here now. Add another 17,000 new Serbian refugees from Kosovo, and more than half the people here are without work. I blame both Milosevic and NATO, which was brutal, says this unemployed auto worker. Now we need help from the international community. All we have to offer is our wisdom. Here's the catch. The U.S. says places like Kragujevac will get no help until Milosevic is gone. No money to rebuild the car factory. No money to repair the power plant. The mayor says he doesn't understand that. You want to get rid of Milosevic, he says, so do we. All we need is a little help. Bill Redeker, ABC News, Kragujevac, Yugoslavia.
One other international item, President Clinton has imposed financial sanctions against the Taliban, which is basically the religious militia which runs Afghanistan. Sanctions may not make much difference. U.S. trade with Afghanistan was worth only $24 million last year, carpets for the U.S. and machinery for them. But Mr. Clinton says he wants to punish the Taliban, which he says supports the alleged international terrorist Osama bin Laden. And one note about Mrs. Clinton on the verge of her political future. Mrs. Clinton today filed papers with the Federal Election Commission. She can now raise and spend money on a Senate campaign in New York. Tomorrow she comes to this state to begin a highly publicized tour, so as she puts it, she can listen to the people. When we come back, looking for a serial killer, it can take years. And then intelligent, happy, and savage. The other side of the dolphin.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Alpo.
Now there's a new kind of Alpo. Alpo Complete.
I try to take good care of myself. Feel the same way about Sam. Both of us start the day with a good meal. He gets this new Alpo Complete. The vet says it'll improve his digestion and keep him healthy from the inside. I need Sam to keep up with me. That's why I feed him Alpo.
New Alpo Complete, a breakthrough formula that keeps your dog healthy from the inside. A great dog deserves new Alpo from Friskies.
With locations in over 1,800 cities and towns, there's always a Days Inn hotel nearby. Wherever you're going, wherever you're from. Days Inn. There you go.
This is indeed a small miracle, a triumph over everyday arthritis pain, made possible by a remarkable medicine. Tylenol Arthritis Extended Relief. So effective even the newest arthritis prescription hasn't been proven to work better. And no other type of pain reliever is gentler to your stomach than Tylenol. Miracle drug? Someone sure thinks so. Tylenol Arthritis. Take comfort in our strength.
In Illinois today, federal agents said that Benjamin Smith, who went on a shooting spree against minorities from Friday until he killed himself Sunday night, bought the guns he used from an unlicensed dealer. He was turned away from a licensed dealer when a background check revealed a former girlfriend had filed an order of protection against him. The latest sighting of the so-called railroad killer has been in New Mexico. Sighting does not confirm that he's actually been seen. If he is traveling by train in New Mexico, that's the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe. Rafael Ramirez. He appears only fleetingly on the authorities' radar, and serial killers can stay on the loose for a very long time. ABC's Deborah Wong reports tonight from Seattle.
They've been searching for a serial killer in Spokane, Washington for close to 2 years. Police believe he has murdered at least 8 women and possibly more. Around New Orleans, 6 young men may have been the victims of a serial killer. 2 bodies have been discovered so far this year in the town of Kenner.
Both of our cases involved relatively young black males. Both cases involved either strangulation or asphyxiation. In both cases, they were partially clad with their shoes missing.
And in the past 2 months in Portland, Oregon, police have found the bodies of 3 women in remote areas of this park, all of them strangled.
We're looking at a pattern homicide here, a serial homicide, a serial killer, as everyone likes to call it.
And in all 3 cases, police are struggling to find leads in what they say is the most difficult kind of homicide to solve. There is a common thread to many of these cases. Like the 3 victims in Portland, Oregon, most had histories of drug addiction or prostitution, or they lived on the fringes of society, which makes them easy prey for killers, and which makes the investigation into their deaths all the more difficult. By the time anyone notices that a victim is missing, the trail may have gone cold. Another difficulty, the history of serial killers tells us they are highly intelligent, their actions methodically planned.
And then on top of that, he's doing his crimes over and over again. He's practicing. He's getting better as he goes.
For 15 years, detectives in Seattle have been trying to track down the Green River serial killer, linked to the murders of 49 people. After compiling 10,000 documents and interviewing 3,000 suspects, they are no closer to cracking the case. Which is why serial killers produce so much fear in some parts of town. Nobody knows if they will be caught before they kill again. Deborah Wong, ABC News, Portland, Oregon.
On the money tonight, a tremendous spurt last month of business being done in the service sector. Banks and retailers and restaurants say that business increased at an even faster pace in June than in May. This is what the Federal Reserve was worried about when it raised interest rates last week. The Labor Department tells us today that from 1994 to 97, more than half of 14-year-olds in the country did at least some part-time work over the summer. When this was an agrarian nation, summertime vacation was designed so that kids could go help on the farm. On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 4 points to close at 11,135. On the NASDAQ, stocks were also down just about 4 points. In a moment, the fight against poverty. What the casinos can and cannot accomplish. We'll take a closer look.
There are a few things you need to do to make your home safe for you and your family, like setting your water heater at 120 degrees Fahrenheit to prevent burns, and installing smoke alarms outside of bedrooms. If your home was built before 1978, have it tested for lead-based paints. Did I mention proper wiring?
For a free brochure on HUD's Healthy Homes and to learn how an FHA loan can help you buy a home, just call.
HUD and FHA are on your side.
The best way to cure athlete's foot so it won't come back is here. New Lamisil AT. So powerful, it does what no other brand can do. These take 4 weeks of treatment to kill the fungus. Lamisil AT is so powerful, with just 1 week's use, it stops the itching and burning and cures athlete's foot between the toes. So powerful, a clinical study showed 3 whole months later, users were still athlete's foot free. Now without a prescription. New Lamisil AT, the best way to cure athlete's foot fast so it won't come back.
When should we support the Olympic athlete? Just before winning the 5th gold medal? What if we supported them during their rise to the Nationals? Or while training for the state championships? What if we supported them when they had nothing to show but their dreams? UAW and General Motors together are committed to supporting tomorrow's Olympians and their families, today and into the future.
The president, as you probably know, is trying to focus national attention on poverty this week by visiting some of the country's impoverished regions. Yesterday, he was in Appalachia saying that government should provide incentives for investing in poor America the way it does for overseas investment. Today, he's in the Mississippi Delta, which Jesse Jackson once described as the Ethiopia of America. It was so poor. In the 1990s, the Delta has actually hit the jackpot in some ways. That is to say that more money is now wagered at the new casinos in Tunica, Mississippi, than anywhere else in the country, save Las Vegas and Atlantic City. There are jobs available, and the Delta has people who want to work. You'd think it wouldn't be difficult. But listen to ABC's Rebecca Chase.
Life has always been hard here in the birthplace of the blues. For generations, the endless miles of cotton fields provided the only jobs in the Delta. Until the casinos came to Tunica. 10 casinos now employ more than 15,000 people.
The first real steady, solid job I ever had.
I finally got a chance to get my own car.
Average starting pay is $8 an hour, more than most people here have ever made. They have insurance for the first time, and that is only one of the benefits.
So I come to work clean, I can go home clean, and I'm getting all the dust like I was in the farm and stuff like that.
But the casinos have a problem. They have hundreds of unfilled jobs. In order to fill all of its job openings, the Grand Casino started recruiting in small Delta towns, like here in Jonestown. But they were shocked at what they found.
It reminded me of some of the small villages that I had visited in third world countries.
This part of the Delta, just 40 miles from the casinos, suffers from the highest rates of long-term joblessness, poverty, and illiteracy in the country.
I was just absolutely, almost speechless. I couldn't believe that anything like that existed in the United States.
The Grand Casino enlisted the help of the local church, where the pastor is also the mayor of Jonestown. With his encouragement, in this town of 1,500 people, more than 300 applied for jobs.
I was surprised to see the numbers of people who never held a job before.
Never had a job, and most never finished high school. Many could not read or write. Only 86 were hired for entry-level jobs in the commissary, the laundry, or picking up after guests.
How you doing, ma'am?
Getting to work was a chronic problem, so the Grand provided free bus service. Even so, a year later, only 30 people from Jonestown are still on the job. The casino says they have become excellent workers, but that potential employers who might answer the president's call should be prepared for just how hard life still is here in the Delta. Rebecca Chase, ABC News, Jonestown, Mississippi.
Jonestown is actually one of several places that has not reaped the full benefits of the economic boom. A report from the Employment Policies Institute finds there are 270 small cities and rural counties where the percentage of people without jobs is more than twice the national average. In a moment, beware the dolphin smile and the murderous urge.
This week, the Publishers Clearinghouse Prize Patrol has no van to drive and no checks to deliver. Because this week, Publishers Clearinghouse is putting thousands of real checks right in the mail. If you get an envelope with this green star, open it and you can find a real check for $100,000 that you can take right to the bank. So this week, the Prize Patrol will have to find something else to do.
Yes. Nice one.
Watch for a Publishers Clearinghouse envelope with a green star. There could be a real check inside.
Those daily shower cleaners forget one pesky little detail: disinfection. Get the only one that does it all. Presenting Lysol Daily Shower Cleaner. Sure, it saves cleanup time, but hello, it also disinfects, if that matters. Till you have our word on it, you can't call it clean. Not all automatic toilet cleaners automatically kill germs. That's why there's Lysol Continuous Action Toilet Cleaner. It cleans and kills germs. You have our word on it.
I should have used Preparation H. Cool it fast. Introducing Preparation H Cooling Gel. Cools on contact for fast relief. New Preparation H Cooling Gel cools on contact.
Hi, I have a question about buying stock.
What's the difference between a market order and a limit order? Hello? Excuse me.
When you have an investment question, does your online brokerage have anybody there to answer it? We do.
It's not funny anymore.
Now, from Seabond Denture Adhesive comes a fresh new hope. New Seabond Natural Fresh. Natural mint freshness and a soft, thin seal that bonds dentures to gums. Original and new Seabond Natural Fresh.
Itchy allergic rash? The dermatologist I work for recommends Cordate. It stops the itch and helps heal the rash to restore your skin. There's no brand doctors recommend more. In fact, doctors recommend Cordate more than 4 to 1 over Cortisone 10. Cordate, restore your skin.
Dolphins are in the news today, and it's not the kind of news the kids are going to be delighted with. Today we've learned of a very different side to the playful, intelligent sea creature that almost everyone loves. The ancient Greeks told us that dolphins rescued lost sailors. These days tourists swim with them looking for healing encounters. Now we learn the dolphin is also a killer. Here's ABC's Ned Potter.
That was very good. Open your mouth.
Perhaps it was that seeming smile. Over the years, we put dolphins on a pedestal.
Look at that.
To be enjoyed, studied, in some cases revered.
Good boy.
The public perception is that dolphins are not wild animals, that they're flipper, whereas the exact opposite is true.
Look at these pictures of a female dolphin and her child being chased by several male aggressors, of the mother trying to ward off their attack. And now you have a hint of what biologists have realized in recent years, that dolphins can be killers, even of their young.
They have a mouthful of very sharp teeth. They can strike animals with either their tails or by hitting them with their rostrum, which is their beak-like snout.
Why do they do it? Nobody's sure, though apparently dolphins do not only kill for food. One theory is that male dolphins will kill babies so that their mothers will not be preoccupied with child rearing.
The males may be killing off young calves with the idea that then the females will be receptive to mating that year.
And they do not only kill their own, they've been seen killing other sea animals by the hundreds. Attacks on humans are extremely rare, but on the open water, scientists now urge people to keep their distance.
What we're finding now, I think, is a little bit of a dose of reality that these animals really are wild animals.
Here comes the dolphin.
And so our picture of them changes. Intelligent as dolphins may be, the ocean in which they live is as wild as any jungle. Ned Potter, ABC News, New York.
Well, here's a story that the young will appreciate. In Louisiana today, good manners became the law. The governor signed a bill that requires children, kindergarten through 5th grade, to address teachers as ma'am or sir. The law lets the school districts determine how to punish the children if they don't comply. In a moment, a remote mountain kingdom joins the global village.
This is really something. You see this pain reliever? Nothing is proven to work better or last longer. Nothing. You see this one? For 14 years, people have counted on this for relief, and it's gentle on the stomach. And you may be surprised to learn that both are Advil. It's true. Nothing's proven to work better or longer than Advil. And millions of people can tell you it's gentle to the stomach. Strong, yet gentle. Advil.
With Days Inn hotels in over 1,800 cities and towns, finding a place to stay doesn't take a federal investigation. Days Inn, there you go.
All set? Hey, this isn't my Accord. No, but it's a great night for a Century test drive.
What about our Moonlit Drive?
Let's flip a coin. Okay, I'll take shotgun. So, what do you think?
It's kind of stuffy in here.
Well then, Brendy, you'll appreciate the dual climate control, standard traction control, ABS. Our Accord doesn't have that. And Accord LX also doesn't have a wife as delicate as a flower. What? It doesn't have standard V6 power. What I said there. Take the Century Challenge today and get $1,500 cash back. That's a lot of cash back. Isn't this romantic? It reminds me of your honeymoon.
If it's real chicken your dog wants, it's Prime you want. Because high-quality chicken is the primary ingredient in Pedigree Prime.
Wednesday, they thought their child was in loving hands,
I hit the play button, and my whole world turned upside down.
but their nanny was charged with abuse when they saw this. What's happening in your home when you're not there? 2020 Wednesday.
Finally, this evening, we're going to visit one of the loveliest places on Earth. It's dramatic, it's isolated, magical in many ways. It's the kind of mysterious place that often attracts us on this segment called Four Corners, the Southeast, or rather the South Asian mountain kingdom of Bhutan, just above India, just below China. Mind you, in this particular case, the Bhutanese and we have a very different idea of what's mysterious. ABC's Mark Litke has just been there.
Tucked securely behind the towering Himalayas, its ancient traditions preserved by its isolation, tiny Bhutan has accepted the modern world in only the smallest doses. Until, that is, the king decreed the kingdom would finally have the two. Every night now, for the 2 hours it's on the air, Bhutanese press against store windows or gather in the few homes with sets. The wonder of it all mirrored in their faces.
It's a beautiful picture.
Actually, it's a pretty scratchy picture, but no one seems to mind.
They're proud to see on the television Bhutanese faces, Bhutanese programs, Bhutanese songs, Bhutanese costumes.
Bhutan TV is still struggling with the technology and the demand for programs. Their biggest hit so far, this production by local students called A Pot of Gold. Not surprisingly, it's been a gold mine for the only television store in the country. It seems everyone here is ready to tune in, especially the young. What do you want to see?
The news of Bhutan.
Sports. Can American shows be far behind, even Baywatch?
I don't think so, but if it comes, I'm more than willing to watch it.
Bhutan resisted television for decades for just that reason, to keep out what it saw as harmful foreign influences in a spiritual land. But a better educated generation here wants to see more of the outside world, so Bhutan's rulers decided to join the global village.
I am optimistic. I think television is a very powerful instrument. Yes, a negative instrument as well, if you have negative intentions.
In fact, the decision to allow TV was partly to counteract the satellite dishes and violent videos already creeping into the land. Bhutan's leaders say they do accept the inevitable, that once television has exposed their people to the world beyond these valleys, it will be much more difficult to preserve Bhutanese culture and traditions. They only hope, as others did a half-century ago and a world away, that television will fulfill its promise and potential. As they're just learning to say here, stay tuned. Mark Litke, ABC News, Bhutan.
Not many places left on the earth without it now. That's our report on World News Tonight. Don't forget Nightline later. I'm Peter Jennings. Have a good evening. Good night.
Tomorrow, could this be the major breakthrough in preventing Alzheimer's disease? A new vaccine has worked wonders on mice. Will it work for people? Watch World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABCnews.com, now a part of the Go Network.
Forward!